Ontario Act to set a minimum fine of $10,000 for the organizers of illegal social gatherings. This is the highest fine anywhere in the entire country, in addition to the $750 fine for individuals who break the rules and show up to these parties.
Did you hear that from Premier Ford? $10,000 fine for people who organize a party and $750 for anybody that attends. Well, we're going to go through the law here today, and I'm going to show people the deception of this so-called Emergencies Act, which has not been passed into Bill C-14. This is called the COVID-19 Emergencies Response Act. It's a completely different thing, and it's a fancy NutraSweet word. It's the only thing that C-114 does, if you take a look at the screen here, is it just amends the Income Tax Act and also the Financial Administration Act, and that's just to give money for relief. That's it. It's got nothing to do with health, vaccinations, wearing masks, social distancing. It's got nothing to do with that. And the reason why I'm doing this video here today is to show you why this is happening. And the reason why, if you take a look at the screen here, you'll see the Canadian Charter on Rights and Freedoms. The government wants to bring down tyranny through vaccinations and make it mandatory. That's what I'm saying is going on right now. The Charter on Rights and Freedoms are in the way. Plus, the Charter on Rights or the Emergencies Act is only good for 90 days during an emergency, and then Parliament needs to come back and ask for an extension. This is not happening. We got Parliament shut right down. So, what's happened here is Trudeau has pushed Bill C-14, and we've all been happy because we're getting our money right across the country, which is great. Like I'm not against that or anything. I don't think any Canadian is. But the argument I have is that when we have COVID-19 going on, the Emergencies Act is something that we need to use. And it also guarantees our freedom and our rights throughout the crisis. All right? So that's why we need to stick with this. And if you take a look at the Emergencies Act, there's a part called Part 1, Public Welfare and Emergency. And number 5B, disease in human beings, animals, or plants. So this Emergencies Act can handle COVID-19. And how you know Premier Ford is overstepping his bounds and he's not following the law, that's why he's calling it rules.
Existing cross-province rules will continue to apply.
Is that if you look on the screen here under the Emergencies Act, you'll see orders and regulations. All right? And if you look at this page here now, I'm just going to go down to, you'll see down here on HJ number 1. On summary conviction of a fine not exceeding $500, was he threatening people with? $750. Or an imprisonment not exceeding 6 months or both that fine or imprisonment. And business owners were getting threatened with what? 1 year in jail. Okay, right there. Now, this is an indictment of a fine not exceeding $5,000, not $100,000, see? Or an imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or both that fine and imprisonment. All right, so, and that's if you're found guilty in front of a jury or whatever. That's an indictment. Summary is if you're just going to plead guilty and that's it for a lesser sentence. That's the difference between the two of them. So if you're going to fight this, or not fight it, just say you're going to pay the fine, you would only get a $500 fine. And you couldn't get any more than 6 months in jail. And these business owners, like the diner up in Minden, the cops went in there, threatened him with a $100,000 fine if he didn't shut down, and a year in jail. So they're just making it up. Where are they doing that? Bill C-36 and Bill C-51. Those are the anti-terrorist laws, and that can stomp on the Constitution. So I just got Bill C-51 here. It's just a summary. We don't have to go too much in the bill. The bill's very vague anyways. That's what makes it dangerous. But you will see here, summary, the enactment amends the criminal code to amend, remove, or repeal passages and provisions that have been ruled unconstitutional. So that's how they can start giving you a hard time about things and saying you got to do mandatory injections and all this stuff and wear a mask in the store and all that. Because under the Emergencies Act, they can't do that. If they just fool you with Bill C-14 amending the Income Tax Act and giving you money, they come heavy-handed down on you with cops. Or that raise risks with regard to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Bingo. So that's what's going to stomp on your rights right there, is by secretly using Bill C-36 and also Bill C-51. And you don't even know it's being used because in the courthouses, they don't even acknowledge it's being used upon you. It's all done in secret. And then you're wondering why you're getting found guilty, even though you got all the evidence on your side. Starting with the Charter on Rights and Freedoms. The judge just laughs at it. I'm telling you, I've been in the courthouses now a few times, and they're just laughing at it. So, looking back at the screen again, Bill C-14 is called the COVID-19 Emergency Response Act. It's a completely different name. Then, if you look at the Emergencies Act, that's all it says, 1985. All right? Emergencies Act. See? You see the difference between the two? So that's why Premier Ford's going around stomping on the charter, making up his own fines, and calling it rules, not laws, because it's not lawful. He's calling it rules, and if you don't follow my rules, I'm going to bring dictatorship down upon you. So that's what I just want to go with here today, just to kind of let people know what's going on, and to start speaking up, because royal assent for these anti-terrorist laws is forbidden for this to be used on Canadians. You deserve to live in peace and security without being harassed by government. The Queen has said so in Bill C-36. And the Charter on Rights and Freedoms need to be respected. How the politicians get away with it, you just don't know what's happening to you because they keep it all top secret. And it's just unbelievable. Anyways, I'm Steve Katsikaris, your Norland Coboconk watchdog, watching out for the taxpayer and the environment, and stay tuned for my next video. So long, everybody.
Oh, I remember. Hand over your gun, buddy.
Everybody's innocent until they're proven guilty. I want a trial.
A trial?
Yeah.
All right, you want a trial? You got it. Cletus, swear in the witness.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
He does. Come to order. This court is now in session. The first witness is the defendant, Mr. Roscoe P. Coltrane. Mr. Coltrane, where did we find the stolen jewels?
Well, in my car...
Guilty! Case closed.
Listen, I want to take this to a higher court.
Then get yourself a ladder. Now, hand over your gun.
I have the right to remain silent.
Then shut up and hand over your gun.